This is the Saldorita adding machine. It was made by Saldorita Verken in Sweden. It was patented by this man, Hugo Sandberg, in 1937 and was likely made in between January of 37 and July of 1938. Although Sandberg wasn't the inventor, that was C.A. Johansson, which is like the second most common name in Sweden, so finding information about him is a non-starter. The first production batch was for 2,500 units, but they probably didn't even make the full amount. This one looks like a second model, but on closer inspection, it just appears that a user modified it to overcome its terrible printing. So here's my Saldorita. It's a simple, light adding machine with a probably Bakelite case. The Saldorita does not represent the best of adding machines. There's no register, visible register, so the printing mechanism is the only way you can tell what's going on. The ink ribbon doesn't automatically advance, so the user needs to constantly turn the little ink rollers. The platen on mine needs replacing, but I couldn't figure out a way to get the platen off, and I didn't want to continue damaging it. Worst of all is that the user interface is not at all recognizable, even to someone who's pretty familiar with adding machines. I get that there's probably something lost in translation, but even following the instructions on the bottom, there's a steep learning curve. I'll demonstrate how to use it. I'm using the white hundreds and thousands places, or else the printed number won't land on the paper. Another strike for this device. The top of the number slider needs to line up with the line of each number. The instructions start from left to right, and I don't know why they say that. Maybe it has something to do with the carries, but I didn't run into any problems. So there I added 25. Here I go again. And when you're done, you press the return button, and they slide back. You can press the total button anytime you want. If you press it when the sliders are up, it'll reveal to you the number you're entering. So there we go. So 25 times 3 is 65, just like everyone expects it to be. Sometimes they gave me the right answer. Now subtraction took me a minute to figure out. You first put that little indicator on the center position, which is kind of a neutral position. Then you slide the number up to the number you want to subtract. Now you put the indicator into subtraction mode, and then you press that little round button beneath the slider, simultaneously sliding the slider back to 0, which it won't get to 0 until you release that round button. And now when we press the total, we'll see that it has indeed subtracted that 5. These sliders were kind of live devices. So if you slid a number and you mean to add 1 and you slide it to 3, you can't just slide it back. When you do that and then you press a total, you'll see that it added the number anyway without having pressed the return. Now here it added 3 and it actually slid to 4, so who knows what's up. To actually correct the slide, you have to press the indicator button to subtract, and then you have to slide it backwards, pressing the round button. And now when we press a total, we'll see that nothing was added. I think that's nothing was added. On this side view, you can see that when you slide a slider up, there it's adding to the accumulator instantly. And if you press the total button, the slider numbers are actually higher. And when I press that return button, they slide backwards, and so the accumulators numbers would stick high enough to register on the platen. If I slide the slider up while it's in neutral, you see that it doesn't actually add to the accumulator. And if I put it in subtraction mode, when I slide it back, it subtracts from the accumulator. The Saldorita had some other kooky features. Here we see the clearing knob labeled with noll, which is Swedish for 0. But now here we find the printing button labeled with total, which is Swedish for... I really wasn't expecting that one. Well, at least patent applied for subt and return have no real place on a Swedish device, presumably designed for a Swedish market. So here's the inside of the Saldorita. Not really much going on there. So that's the Saldorita adding machine. Mine is number 191, and genuinely I'm surprised they sold that many.